Uh, Today we will start with the new chapter. The chapter name, as you can see over here, India and European colonization. Just for 1 minute, I'm coming back. Just wait a minute. Okay. Yeah. As you can see, the India and European colonization. Okay. So last chapter we had learned about the European has captured in the world which continent like Asia, Africa, America, and Australia. Here in this chapter we will see where and how the European people have captured to India. Like from the Indian perspective we will see which European colonization had captured or occupied the land of India. In short, I can say which foreigners have came in India and they had captured our land. They have occupied the land of our country. Okay, like most of you is already aware about it. Only British. Here it is written 3.2. The British has captured. Most of the people are already aware about because British were the long chasing. Like they had thought they have captured India in a long term. That's why most of the people are aware about today British Raj. British people have captured, but apart from the Portuguese people also came, Dutch people, French people also came, but most of the people are not aware about it. Only people are aware this British people have came, but in fact before British the Portuguese has came. So sequentially it is written like first Portuguese came, then British, then Dutch, then French. Okay, so the Europe, how which kind of foreign people have came and they have made the colonization. In this chapter we are going to learn that. Okay, and which is very interesting. Okay, now in the previous lesson we learn about European colonialism and its impact on world history. Obviously, we had learned on the last chapter how this European had colonized and what kind of impact they have made on that particular country. And in this lesson, we are going to learn about the spread of colonialism in India and its impact. Okay, from the Indian perspective, we will see how the European colonies are spread in India and its impact. Okay, first let's start with the Portuguese. Now, Portuguese is also a football team, right? Portuguese is also came in India first. Before British, Portuguese were the first. They came in India. That's why it is written first. Vasco da Gama. Okay, he is a Portuguese seafarer. Seafarer means a person who is traveling by boat, like exploring by boat. Okay, so Vasco da Gama is an explorer and reached to the port of Calicut in 1498. He was an explorer. He reached to port. Port is a nearby Nadi ka Kinara. He reached to the port in 1498 in Calicut, Calcutta. Once landed on the Indian coast, the Portuguese did not take long to establish themselves in India. Okay, so Vasco da Gama is the first person. He reached to India through the sea, and once the Portuguese people have landed on the Indian coast, they didn't take long to establish themselves, which means it didn't take less time. Like very fastly, they have controlled which area they had landed. Okay, by beginning of the 16th century, like which means for 1500, the Portuguese has brought a considerable portion of the Indian coast under their control. So by the beginning of the 1500, nearby 1500 Common Era, the Portuguese people have occupied the some part of the portion near the coastline under their control. Okay, under their control. Clear? So the first person, the Vasco da Gama, he had came. Okay, he had came in India and He had uh, he had controlled some part of the India. Like let's see who is Vasco da Gama. Here the image is not written. Let's start. Vasco da. So here it is already written. Okay, so is the person, you can see Vasco da Gama. So it's looking like this. Okay, the Vasco da Gama. Clear? So it's look like this. Clear? Let's go to our content. What is it? Our content is here. Okay. So Vasco da Gama, you had seen how he's looking, and he is the first person who had came in India, right? From from the sea, and first person for 98, and then the beginning of the 16th century they had captured some part of the portion of India. Okay, and then Portuguese people took advantage of strained relation. Clear? Portuguese people took advantage of strained relation among various rural in South India. Portuguese people is very smart. Okay, when they establish themselves, they are building the relationship between the Indian rulers, which means the king, rulers in South India. They established their colonies on the western coast and built forts for their protection and used them to protect their colonies from external attacks and reinforce them continuously with supplies by seaways. Portuguese people were very smart. They are building the relationship with the rulers, Indian rulers in South India. They build the forts near the coast. Why they building the forts? Because they want to protect themselves by the external attack and and the external effect, and they reinforce them continuously by the seaways. Okay, so the Portuguese naval force, which means the Portuguese military navy system, was very strong. The Portuguese navy was very strong. Okay, and they used to launch sudden attack on their enemy territory from the sea and wreck it completely. So the Portuguese navy was very strong. It was strong that they are attacking the enemy, and they break it. They knock them down very nicely. Indian local ruler could not match the Portuguese in their war tactics. So Indian ruler match are not matching their strength of the military system, their war techniques, because Portuguese tactics were very different from the Indian. So that's why this the Portuguese military, the naval force are very strong. Okay. Now the here when they established their firm control on the Indian Ocean. So when these Portuguese people established their firm control means very good control in the Indian near the ocean, they made an obligatory for the Indian dealer to get the license cartas from for the sailing on the Indian Ocean. So basically the fact is that when the Portuguese people had have a firm full control on the ocean, so they make it compulsory for the Indian people to get the license from them if the Indian people want to travel from the sea route from Indian Ocean. They are very smart. Okay, and here when they establish so here cartas is a license which are created by the Portuguese. If the local ruler dared to set out on the sea without the Portuguese license, the ships were either seized or sunk by force. So for example, if Indian people they have a daring, like without license they are traveling, they are doing their trading and business. So this Portuguese ruler are taking their ship, or they are completely wreck their ship, which means like wrecked by them force. The Portuguese had became so powerful that even mighty Mughals and sultans in the south had to buy a license from them. This Portuguese people has become too much powerful, that much powerful. This Mughals people and the sultans, okay, they also started buying the license from them, because obviously the Mughals and sultans were very strong, but even they also started buying a license from them because these Portuguese people were very strong. By 1608, the Portuguese had their colonies on the western coast of India. Okay, the Portuguese had their colonies on the western coast of India at Diu Daman, Chaul, and Goa. Okay, so these people have their colonies, which means they had made a full control in Diu Daman, which is in Gujarat, and Goa, and Bardes, including the Sastri and Bardes, Hunavar, Gangoli, Basur, Mangalore, and Kudungalagur, and Kochi and Kollam. So this area which is mentioned here, they have captured there. Similarly, at the eastern coast, similarly at the eastern coast, the western coast, also they have captured the eastern coast. Also, they had trader colonies at Nag, Patinam, Mailapure, and Hooghly in Bengal. And this stretched the Portuguese Empire and had its capital at Goa. Okay. So the Portuguese people were very smart. Like first, the Vasco da Gama had came, and they have established their full control in the western part and the Indian coast near the Nadiga Kinara, full control, and they have their main center at Goa. Okay, Goa. Goa, everyone know. People are going for Goa for enjoying their party, right? So here the Kartis is a document carried details like name and everything, the name of the ship, name from your self defense and everything. It's a license, okay, which are made by the Portuguese people. Okay, now the Portuguese colony had spread from Cape of Good Hope to Macau in China. Like there was a Cape of Good Hope in Macau in China. The Portuguese people have spread from China also, and they all were considered to be the part of Indian Empire of the Portuguese. Okay, Portuguese have a full control in the Cape of Good Hope in China, also in Macau, and they also are a part of Indian Empire of Portuguese. Okay, and there were several offices holders appointed by the Portuguese king. So there were offices are there in India which are holding by the Portuguese king, like Viceroy and the General of the Army for 3 years of tenure. So there were office like and in that office the Viceroy of Portuguese king, Portuguese people are working for the 3 year tenure, and there used to be a advisory board. There used to be a advisory board and assist the viceroy. Okay, there is a advisory board also there for this viceroy. Like in the office, like the different types of office are there in India, which are made by the Portuguese king, and there were advisory team was also there who is assisting the viceroy, which included and this advisory committee, which included the Archbishop of Goa, like Archbishop, which means the head of the church, then judge in charge of the company possession, captain, and a few aristocrat from Portugal, and viceroy used to be presiding head of the administrative setup. So you know the first I want to explain you that if you see the history is very important. If I talk about India also, like now we can see the IS officer, IPS officer, cabinet minister, all the admin systems are there in India. So these were the reason, like they were the main reason, like because of them somewhere around like we have administration system, because in ancient time like where the rulers were came in India, they have also formed some setup, administration setup, and this administration setup still it is continuing, right? If you see the advisory board which the Portuguese people have, and this advisory board the consist of this people. Now also if I talk about the advisory boards are there, for the prime minister, and they are consist of cabinet minister, IS officer, collector, like this. Okay, history repeats by itself. Clear? And in the early half of the 17th century, okay, in the early half of the 17th century, the five ships used to arrive every year. Okay, in the early half of the 17th century, okay, there were five ships were used to arrive every year in Indian ports. What it means, like nearby 1600, 1600 to 1650, there were five ships used to arrive every year in India, Indian Nadiya Kinara, and these ships were equipped with cannons. Okay, these ships, whenever they are arriving from Portuguese to India, they have cannons. Cannons means nothing but, you can see, the cannons means this, like a top in Hindi we can say. So these are the cannons, you can see. It is a top. Clear? I think so. Understood. Clear? These are the cannons, we can say. Uh, so the ships are coming, and ships they have a cannons also in their ports, because they want to protect, right? If any problem will come during the traveling from Portuguese to India, so they will have a fight with them. Okay, so the Portuguese had shipbuilding facilities of Goa, Daman. Okay, the Portuguese people have shipbuilding facilities of, they are building the ship also in Goa, Daman, and durable teak wood of best quality. Okay, they are making a ship also with a very with the durable teak wood. Teak wood means a best quality of essential for available in the region. Like teak wood is a with a high quality of the this high quality of tree. Okay, let's see what is teakwood. This is the teakwood, right? It's a hardwood of tree species in family. Clear? So so the ships in what they are making, the Portuguese people, they are making very strong ships, best quality. Okay, the Portuguese used to deploy a seaman from Portugal to India. The Portuguese people are deploying one seaman. Seaman is a person who is a captain, who are responsible for this ship from Portugal to India. Okay, they are deploying them, and in those times, Indian rulers did not maintain a naval force, and at that time, Indian people doesn't have an Indian navy. Okay, naval force which means Indian navy. Therefore, the Indian rulers Indian rulers found it difficult to fight with the strong naval force of the Portuguese. Therefore, these people has found a very strong, like difficult for them to fight with them. Only one exception was that only one exception of that of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who had built his own navy. Only one exception, like in India, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, everyone know, only he is having a navy, and it's a very strong navy, who has built his own navy. And the Dutch and the British defeated the Portuguese naval force, and the Dutch and the Britishers, both the people, they have defeated the Portuguese naval force. Like they combined, they defeated them naval force in the 17th century of the sea battle. Okay, and if I talk about this Portuguese navy force were defeated by the British and the Dutch. Clear? The Portuguese people putting prohibited on India, like building any religious monument except churches. Portuguese people are having a prohibition, means putting restriction, like you Indian people cannot build the religious monuments. Okay, in the Indian provisions, under the rule, like you cannot make a temple. Okay, this for the prohibited. And they also prohibited celebration of religious festival in function, like if just imagine in 2023, if Portuguese people if living over here, like we cannot build the temple also, we cannot celebrate the daily Diwali also, because they are the control. The Portuguese ruler are also tried to suppress the local language. Okay, Portuguese people also try to suppress the local language. Like we cannot speak Hindi, we cannot speak Bhojpuri, we cannot speak Marathi language, Rajasthani language, state language. They are suppressing. The people were offered employment with the intention of attract them to Christianity. So So at that time the people are also getting job through Portuguese people, but why they are attracting them, because they want to convert them in Christian. In the beginning of the rule, they made Goa a free port. In the beginning and the starting initial period, they made a Goa free port that resulted in attracting traders from various countries to Goa. Clear? Portuguese we have completed. So these are the Portuguese. Okay, I am stopping here. Next video will start from British.